the record button. Hey, look at that. All right, you ready?
Got it.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back to Kryptonite, because I believe that cryptocurrency is the kryptonite of our modern financial system. And guys, I love it. Guys, I have a guest on today. First time I've ever done this before, actually, where I've broken down the charts with somebody. I've always wanted to do this. I always see the people I follow doing this all the time. So I'm super excited to get to do this. My buddy Austin, quick backstory. I met him at the line dancing bar I used to go to in California. He was a security guard there. And me and him became pretty good friends because, we both love crypto, and there's, pretty much no one else we can really talk to a lot of the times because most people aren't really about it. So we definitely bonded over that. And I'm glad to have him on the show. Austin, how are you doing? And just man, those markets today, what a wild day, right?
Ooh, red, bleeding red for the last week since the FOMC Fed meeting. Interest rates went up and everybody started looking for hedges and started pulling out of the markets. It's
a bloodbath
kind of bloody
right now. It's an absolute bloodbath. Yeah, all my crypto holdings are down, but I am still feeling positive. I'm still feeling strong conviction of the future of the cryptocurrency market. So I'm going to be pretty much holding and staking most everything and continuing to invest and just hold for the long term, because I know that. And I do have my small little trading account, and I did put in a long position today on Cardano, actually. And I'll have to break down the charts and show you why I did that. I mainly did that more so because it just always follows Bitcoin so close. And so I know if Bitcoin bounces from 30 and we get sort of a relief rally, I know Cardano is going to follow, because Cardano is like the little baby brother of Bitcoin, and just like, yeah, I'll follow you, little Bitcoin. So I think I'm like breaking even on that one right now, because Bitcoin keeps kind of fluctuating around that 30K range. But we'll see how that long position goes. But Austin, you've been doing some charting yourself on Bitcoin, I believe, and I would love to see you pull that up. Let me see if I can enable some screen sharing here. There we go. So I'd love to see your chart breakdown and just give us your predictions. Where's Bitcoin going in the short term, the midterm, and the long term? And then I'm sure you got some other charts for us as well about the housing market. So jump right into it. You show me yours, I'll show you mine.
All right. Get this going. All right, everybody. I'm going to share my screen now. I've been a bit busy lately, so I haven't had a lot. I have been thinking that, looking at the markets and Bitcoin in particular, I have been noticing that we're going to go into a downtrend. I use a few indicators that help me show that we're going down. I don't think we bottomed yet. I still think we are going down to maybe anywhere between 19,000 and 24,000, just based off of CME gaps. If you don't know what CME gaps are, they're the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Typically, when the stock market, there's a gap, and you'll start a position Friday, and on a Monday. So I'm going to show you guys my Bitcoin chart, and I'm going to start with the monthly on the Bitcoin chart.
Let's go. Yeah, zoom out so we don't all freak out, All right.
Right.
You able to get that screen up there? I want to see it.
My computer's being a little slow, so work with me, everybody.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi is struggling as well too, as I'm getting all these updates about all the different cryptos plunging. I don't even know how I'm smiling right now, but I guess I'm still, like I said, I still feel a lot of conviction. So I'm not too dispirited at the moment. Oh, he's frozen. He's frozen. Oh, wait, there he is. Oh, here we go.
Everything froze for me a little bit.
And then don't. Right, here we go. All right, you are good to go. I guess take us through your
sorry
charts.
If my connection's a little unstable. I had to work on my SUV today. I'm at my mom's house. I left my SUV here like a month ago and finally got the parts that I need to fix it. So
nice.
All right, so here's just a little layout, little chart that I use. I'll zoom in a little bit, I use the free version of TradingView. So sometimes doesn't work, sometimes it does. Typically,
I have the same issues
I
with it.
use, yeah, it sucks. So I just switch between charts and they work and they don't. But typically, I use the Heiken Ashy candles to pay attention to whether we're in a downtrend or an uptrend. As you can see over through the monthly views, we have been in a downtrend. Typically, when I talk about CME gaps, I'll use this as an example. Early part of 2017, Bitcoin hit a high at almost 20,000. Right here, November 2020, hit a high 20,000. It had never been at those points before. If we're looking at support levels between 20,000, 19,000 area, and let's say 30,000, where we hit our lowest today, let's say that's a support right there. We can see that it's dropped down multiple times across the board. That CME gap exists in the 10,000 level. We really don't know where support could be at those points. So I think anywhere between about 24, 25, probably about this level right here is where we could see a little bit of support. And then if not, we could drop down here to the 19,000 level potentially. As you can see, we're in a downtrend and there's that large CME gap that we have. So I usually use RSI divergence to check to see if we're up and down. As you can see, we had an up here, later part of 2021 after we'd seen a downtrend after April 2021. We had a little uptrend. Let's call that a fake out, and we're at a downtrend. I use STC, which is a really good indicator. It's the shaft trend cycle, helps us show the ups and downs in the market and the MACD crossover to check to see whether we're in an uptrend or downtrend. Now, the blue line crossing over the red line typically means we're going up. Now, we're not even close to that. There's a huge gap going on right here. I can't see us going back up till at least potentially somewhere past October of 2022. Unfortunately, looking at the shaft trend cycle, this was us in April 2022. In the corner right here, you'll see there are numbers. That red number right there will indicate where we're at. And typically it breaks down half continually until we get to a point where we've bottomed out. And bottoming out can stay at the zero. So if we're in the green up here, our 100%, we want to get to our 0% at some point. We've gone from 100 to 50 to 25 to 12.5 to 6.2 to 3.1. Now I could see us hitting the 1.55 marker and the 0.75 marker, and even down to the 0.32 area, and even potentially the 0.15 over here. Now, that doesn't mean we can't stay at a 0.0 for a little bit, and this time frame start seeing some kind of relief in the markets, but that's all dependent on the S&P. Bitcoin's been following the unfortunately the stock market lately, so this is where we could start seeing up. Those are my projections. Back to Tim.
Yeah, I think it's I really like the chart. I really like that you're doing the monthly chart, by the way. I'm gonna have to do the monthly chart more often. I really like that. I need to learn more about the STC because I'm still not super familiar with it, but I do like your analysis. I do think the one thing we do have to take in consideration on top of what's going on with the global markets and the stock market is the Bitcoin halving. Because as we've seen throughout the cycles, the year kind of leading up to the Bitcoin halving, we start to see a little bit of upside, and then the half happens, and then maybe there's usually a little gap there, but before it's to the next level. And so right now, I think we're about 2.5 years away from the next Bitcoin halving. So I think it makes sense, like you said, that we would probably see at least a year from here to another year of downside or sideways action while we wait for sort of the, oh, hey, we're getting close to the Bitcoin halving, and then people start to put in again as we get closer to that event. And then that event happens, we see a little gap, and then we see another explosion, another blow off top to the next level, which I do expect based on the level of adoption that we're seeing with Bitcoin, with multiple countries now making it legal tender. And, all the time I'm hearing about different businesses accepting it as payment. And so I think that it's really that Bitcoin halving is like the big event. And I was optimistic that we hadn't hit the blow off top yet, but I'm seeing now that, we probably were due for some downside in between the halvings. So again, like I said, I think another year, get close to that Bitcoin halving, people are going to start to sort of, what do you call it? Buy the rumor, right? People are like, oh, the halving's coming up, and that's where you're going to see people start to put more money in, put more money in, put more money
on the charts.
in anticipation.
Look at the bigger picture sometimes.
Absolutely. I think that was phenomenal to see that.
Halving is a really important thing.
Yeah. So let me pull out mine here. And how did you do that? Share screen. Tell me if you are able to see my screen here. I'm actually looking at a GST right now because I was going to tell you actually about the Steppen app.
Yeah.
How I told you about the Steppen app. So the Steppen app is actually something I discovered recently. It's called Move to Earn, and you basically you buy a sneaker NFT. I bought it for about $1,200, and then you walk every day in between like a certain speed based on the type of shoe that you bought, and you get rewards in GST, which is the token here. Now, as you can see, it's definitely in a bit of a downtrend. I was able to get in around this point, and so for a few days there, I was making like $60 a day. Just from getting this token from running. And I've used a lot of it to upgrade my sneaker. But then recently, as we started to go lower, I started to cash out more, where as soon as I get to GST, I cash it out into cash, into USDC, and kind of wait. My plan is with this app is to wait for GST to keep dropping. And then I'll probably wait for Solana to drop as well. I'm going to use that cash, that USDC I've been earning from all the walks. I'm going to buy Solana with it. So because Solana's dropping, and then I'm gonna use that Solana to buy another NFT, which actually as well have another phone, like an iPhone 6, that I'm actually going to put the Steppen app on that one as well. And when I get my second NFT here, which I'm gonna buy pretty soon, I'll be able to make double the earnings per day with about 20 minutes of exercise walking around in between these different speeds. And I'm hoping, obviously, if GST keeps dropping, then the amount I'll make per day will keep dropping. But yeah, if I was still up here, I'd be making $120 a day. Now I'll probably be making more like $20 to $40 a day, but that's still pretty sweet just to get paid to exercise.
Utility for, Move to Earn's really, really an interesting concept. It's not something you can totally manipulate. I mean, you could, but it's definitely a good concept. I like it. I see a lot more utility in that than a few other proof of, let's say, time, proof of space. There are a few proofs that have come out that have seemed to just not work. And it's a little embarrassing to see that people try to find utility and things. And sometimes I wonder if they're just pumping up schemes from the beginning. Move to Earn, I mean, that's something that can definitely have utility in the markets overall.
Yeah, I think what I like about it is I see a future with, especially with these sneakers, where a lot of partnerships, and I've already heard some partnerships in the work with Nike, a couple shoe companies, where they'll be able to advertise on the platform. You buy Nike sneakers. I definitely see that as utility for this app.
Oh, definitely. A lot of these companies have bought into the metaverse already, and I know Nike and Adidas and Reeboks. I think Reeboks. A lot of these companies have bought into the metaverse space, and if you could somehow link these Move to Earn NFTs within, a interconnected. I'll use I guess what's a good blockchain that has interoperability, that has metaverse space. You could definitely find some utility in one of these companies.
Absolutely, yeah. Another utility case I've heard is like, so right now, companies like Intel, they're basically telling their employees, hey, we'll buy you an Apple Watch if you get in this many steps per week. And if you don't, then we'll take the Apple iWatch back. But if you keep up to what we want, then you can keep this free Apple iWatch. Different things like that, right? Different strategies to get their workers to exercise more, because they know that they'll be more productive at work and healthier if they exercise. So I was hearing about some utility potentially for this app, to where companies invest in the app and then make it available to their employees, to like, hey, here's these like NFT sneakers that you can use to make GST, to make money walking every day, and that can be sort of an incentive program within a company. So I think it's like one of the coolest niches in crypto right now. And I'm like, as me, having my own health and fitness channel, I feel like it's like my perfect niche, because it blends health and fitness and crypto in one. So this is a sector that I'm going to be really focusing on. And I've been already researching other coins in the sector as well, to see what projects I want to get in on early as well. Cause I think this will be because I already love to be active already. So this is like perfect for me. I get to go on walks every day and get paid for it. So
you heard it, folks. We got a thumbs up here on GST, step in and move to earn.
Now I will say this though, even though I'm really bullish on STEPN, so GST is an unlimited supply, is not a cap supply, and they're sort of putting things in work. So they're actually going to move the main kind of one of the currencies to GMT, which is going to be more kind of like, this will still be used a lot, but GMT is going to be more of a main token. So I do see this continuing to drop, just because anything with an unlimited supply, is going to have a lot of selling pressure constantly. So again, we'll see how they're able to manipulate it, but again, GMT will be what you earn in the future with this app. If you level up, they're already talking about if you level up to a certain level with your sneaker, you'll earn GMT instead, which is kind of the token you want, because that's the one that has more of a capped supply. So I have to work my way up to get some GMT. So the charts don't look great, but I still think I'm bullish on the app, and the ecosystem itself I think is really cool. All right, let me get into some good old Mr. Bitcoin here. And let's hop on the daily. So I need to start using more of the monthly though.
At this point, with the markets going down as they are, I mean, it's hard to want to look at dailies.
It's true. I still have some hope here. I mean, it's a little bit of hope, but as you can see from this chart, we have this big, yellow zone here, and multiple times now we've had some nice bounces off of these levels. This has been like a good bottom level. I've heard a lot of institutional buyers have buy orders in at 30K. So a lot of those probably already got hit. I know that El Salvador purchased more Bitcoin. So I have hope still that at the very least we'll get a relief rally, some sort of upside back, and some sort of maybe a bear flag.
Like 38 for a little bit.
Yeah, I was even looking at I was even doing like a fib, because I kind of wanted to see, I think, actually, no, this is a little more of a negative fib to see where we'd go as far as the 1618. Usually it runs to the 1618. I was seeing if I could do the different way. There's a way I was looking at it earlier. I should have kept the chart on here, where you could kind of see that, kind of where the golden pocket was. I forgot what I did to get it, but I remember the golden pocket. I posted on Twitter. The golden pocket was kind of around, like you said, 38K. And if we're going to get a run back to the golden pocket before continuing the downtrend, but I don't remember exactly where I drew it last time. I think I hit it for my chart. Anyway, things don't look good. I do expect a relief rally. I did put in a long position right down here on ADA, because I think ADA follows Bitcoin pretty close. So I'm banking on a relief rally, at least to maybe a strong resistance level here around, like I said, 38K, where maybe we're just going to go retest that, right? We're going to turn that was once support, we're going to turn it into resistance with a little relief rally.
Right.
And that's where I'd probably sell my position.
How I look at things
around that point.
As fast as the markets have dropped lately, I think there are a lot of people who saw this coming and put in shorts and helped drop the market fast. I do think that people late shorts are going to get wrecked. Any open interest for short leverage before we do a quick relief will wreck people. It'll put into the global markets or any markets in general. It might be good to put in a long right now. I wouldn't over leverage, but I can definitely see the market bouncing for a little bit, maybe another month. We'll see an upside into the summer. early summer, and then we'll start seeing our more key indicators that a global recession could be happening, even into depression. And I use a lot of old recessions and depressions as examples to see where the markets are going. The Great Depression, the 1970s. Look at open interest rates, different factors in markets, the DXY, the value of the dollar, to see where we're going. And I can definitely see that we'll get a push up and then a push down. And what goes up must come down, and what goes down will get picked up by the market makers.
Yeah, I agree. I do see one little last bit of hope. It's a very small bit of hope, but I was looking back on kind of the previous cycles, and let's see if I can zoom in back here. And this was a previous cycle here, it's back in '08 here, where we had the kind of that blow off top, right? We had this bear market essentially for a couple years, and we came down. We hit this sort of range here, went up, came down, hit the range again, went up, came down, hit it a third time, hit this range before kind of going on to the next level. And obviously you can see it looks kind of similar, right? We hit one, we went up, we came down, kind of similar to this one where we, kind of made some W's in there, came out, and now we're, obviously this one didn't go too deep into that range, and this one already is testing the very bottom of the range. And obviously we have to take into account what you said, sort of the more fundamentals going on in terms of the global recession and inflation, all these kind of crazy things happening, which could sort of negate this potential pattern. But I'm still hoping a little bit that maybe this was our third bottom before we do see the blow off top that we never did really see. But at the same time, again, we do need sort of a bear market before we get close to the next halving.
I don't see decoupling from the global markets or the S&P just yet, but we're definitely maintaining support. With the large drop that we had today, we're staying right above 30K, and it's good. It's good for now.
Maybe you can help me kind of, because I'm still flummoxed that Bitcoin isn't more immune to the global, or isn't even bolstered by the global, what's going on, because the global world, we're seeing all this inflation, we're seeing prices rise, we're seeing stocks fall. And my thought is Bitcoin to me is one of the hardest assets in the world. Like there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin. There will never be more. In fact, over time, there will just be less and less as people maybe lose access to their wallets. Right. And there's Bitcoin that'll never get recovered. So I actually see that being slightly deflationary, to where that people will just lose Bitcoin, or they'll send it to the wrong address and it'll, disappear or whatnot. So I'm still flummoxed on how can Bitcoin be so coupled with the markets when it seems like, there's only going to be such a small supply.
As fast as Bitcoin's risen in the last 2 years, a lot of individuals came into the market strong with a lot of money. I'll use Elon Musk as an example. MicroStrategy went into the market, and the market makers are manipulating the markets right now. There's a lot of big players that went into the market and dropped a lot of money into the market. And these are people who are intertwined with the global markets and traditional markets. So as they try to make money on their traditional markets, they're following course with Bitcoin. As more adoption comes into play, and retail and your normal investor starts putting into the crypto market, we could see more of a decoupling. But unfortunately, because of these large, these individuals and companies with large amounts of money went into the market, it happened to couple Bitcoin more so recently with global markets. I do think at some point decoupling will happen again, but another issue I see is some altcoins or shitcoins in the market really messing up the markets right now. A lot of people will pull out of Bitcoin specifically, and that's I would equate the S&P 500 SPY to Bitcoin, and a lot of stocks have currently dropped along with the S&P. And if Bitcoin were similar to the S&P, and let's say Tesla stock went down a significant amount today, percentage wise, contrary to the S&P just dropping like 1%. If those are the best way I could make similarities, Bitcoin being the top dog, S&P being the top dog, and let's say Gala dropped down today. When Bitcoin drops 1%, an altcoin may drop up to 20%, and S&P dropping 1% today and Tesla dropping a set amount percentage is the most similar thing I could present. But I do think market makers manipulating the market right now, and large players hyping, buying, selling in the market. Elon Musk is the biggest example I can use. He bought into the market, bought in with Tesla and SpaceX, and he said he wasn't going to sell, and he decided to sell, and that helped prompt large sell-offs in the market. I mean,
so he officially sold his he sold his Tesla stocks, didn't he?
Yeah, currently yes, but as he was slowly selling to raise the profits within Tesla. Tesla's yearly earning reports were extremely high based off of his sales of Bitcoin, because I think he bought in between 14 and 20,000, and he was selling at the top between.
I'm gonna have to get 60. Your information on that, because from what I understand, he hasn't sold any of his Bitcoin. I know he's sold his Tesla shares to sort of raise enough capital to buy Twitter, but you have to show me your resource, because as far as I know, right, I heard he wasn't going to touch his Bitcoin or sell his Bitcoin. But if you have some information on that,
he definitely Tesla to purchase some Bitcoin, and he was selling, and they had a huge earnings report. I'll have to find it sometime, and maybe on the next episode, I'll have that information ready. I don't want to spout like just general nonsense and find out it's actually not true.
Yeah, double check that, because
yeah,
I've heard he only sold his Tesla shares and he hasn't sold his Bitcoin. But we'll check back on that. We'll get back to you on the next episode. I had one more. Oh, so I'd actually learned something recently that I didn't know, and could be sort of a reason on why Bitcoin is dropping, when it's like, man, like, there's all these, I was seeing all these charts for like all-time highs in terms of the amount of Bitcoin wallets and the amount of people hold Bitcoin, and the amount of Bitcoin that wasn't on exchanges was at an all-time high. And you'd think that all that would predicate that, we're going to have that blow off top finally. So, seeing all this happen is a bit confusing. But I also learned recently that if you don't take your Bitcoin off of exchanges, they do exactly what banks do, where they just take a lot of it and they go and they sort of lend it out to other people who can sell it or do things with it, to where, unless, if everyone went to the exchange and tried to get all their Bitcoin off exchange at the same time, there'd almost be like a run on the bank scenario, because they don't have that Bitcoin because they've lent it out. Right. So they're like banking in the same way our banks are hoping, man, I hope everyone doesn't come and get money from us today, because we've lent out a good chunk of that we don't even have, that wouldn't be able to give people, right? The exchanges kind of work the same way, to where they, the price of Bitcoin is actually going down because people have kept their Bitcoin on exchanges. Whereas if everyone at the same time pulled all their Bitcoin off exchanges, sent it to cold wallets or hardware wallets or their MetaMasks, we would see like the price increase a lot, because no longer would exchanges be able to lend that out and essentially create more Bitcoin that doesn't really exist, but exists inside the sort of exchange and the lending, just in the way the bank sort of has sort of fake money almost. That
you got to be careful with market makers, regardless of the market you're in. Cryptos, Coinbase has had a lot of issues recently. Their MEX and what's that exchange? There's quite a few exchanges that had a lot of fraudulent activity going on, and you have to be really careful. If there's one bug in the code, there's some kind of exploit in the system to take someone. I mean, we've seen plenty of hacks this past year. I mean, Mt. Gox was one of the first largest hacks, and we've seen continuous hacks lately. and a lot of governments have started to step in to try to protect the average consumer. The FBI has been hiring cyber task force for crypto. There's quite a bit going on worldwide that we don't know behind the scenes. Large criminal organizations hiring hackers and independent hackers, using exploits to take money, Bitcoin. There's a lot of things going on, and definitely being careful with on the exchanges, centralized exchanges.
Yeah, we need
we
need to pull our Bitcoin off those into wallets, and that's what's going to really
you
rise the
have
price.
To be careful with the hard wallets nowadays. There've been plenty of exploits on as far as like the hard wallets go too.
Yeah, definitely stay. I have multiple wallets, so stay diversified with your wallets. I have like a ton of different wallets that hold different stuff, so that way if one gets hacked, they don't have everything.
Right.
That's a big one right there. Let me show you one more chart before we go. We only have a few minutes left here before we're gonna get kicked off. So I don't know if you've heard about Luna lately, but dude,
yeah, I was checking that out.
Dude.
I'm just so sad.
Man.
Oh wow. I did not know we dropped down to 28. Wow.
Yeah, so it mainly happened because the UST lost its peg. So many people were pulling out of UST so fast that it actually, I think it's even, I have to look it up here to see what it's at, because it's below $1 pretty significantly. Let's see what it's at right now. So okay, it looks like it's starting to regain its peg a little bit. So we dropped all the way down to 60 cents it was worth, and now it looks like we're coming back. It's going to try to regain the peg. It hasn't happened too many times. I don't know if this really shows the whole history, but yeah, it's been a wild ride. I still have my Luna bags, and they are all in the absolute tank. But I figure I'll just hold them and keep staking them, and
that's the same thing I'm doing right now. I bought in pretty early with Luna. This might be an opportunity to buy some more. I can see more of a drop happening. If I could find a way to get a really good stake with stable coins, some kind of conversion going on, I'm fine with that. But I'm a long-term holder. I'm looking at my investments in the future. I'm 30 years old right now. I know I look much older. It's that time hasn't aged me well. But yeah. But long term, there are definitely organizations within the crypto sphere that I trust and don't trust. Typically, I don't look at anything under the top 250 coins that I can find on CoinMarketCap. The further back you go for lesser known and lower market cap cryptos, you're gonna have to go for some risks. If they're being hyped up enough and you are able to take advantage of being part of the early crowd, take advantage of it.
Now, speaking of random out of the top 50 coins, I do hold this one meme coin called Yoshi. And it's not doing too hot right now. Again, I'm kind of just holding a bag of it for fun. And if it ever does, they have metaverse plans. So if the metaverse, down the road gets big, then maybe Yoshi can survive. But yeah, I have a fun bag of that. That's obviously doing nothing. But any other any coins you want to look at right now?
To the 3 trillion. Look for a Bitgert.
What's the symbol for that one?
BIT
BET
or BRGT.
BRGT. What? No.
BGRT.
BGRT.
Let me find it real quick.
Is it right here? Bitgert? Maybe.
Yes.
This is one that you were liking, right?
Wait, this is GRT. Let me.
Oh, you're right. Oh, that's weird. Bitgert. The heck? Yeah, share your screen. Let me stop sharing and show me what you got here. Show me some Bitgert. I do think we were talking about this earlier. I think it's a good time probably to start getting into XRP more, because that could be one that sort of has a pump during the bear market because it has the other factors going on with the lawsuit. And if the lawsuit gets lifted, then even in a bear market, it'll pump because it'll get used a lot more. XRP is probably going to accumulate. I'm still really bullish on Cardano, especially since they're getting a stable coin. I think that's going to lock up a lot of ADA backing that stable coin. So yeah, you and me both love the Cardano. Love what Cardano's doing. Big fan of Cardano. I don't know. Do you really? I'm like, I want to buy more Luna because it is so low, but at the same time, I'm like, do I really trust Luna anymore? Or maybe I should just, maybe I should just buy more anyway. Just counter trade everyone else who's probably thinking like, oh, it's done. I don't trust it anymore. Like counter trade those people. Buy now, and see if the ecosystem still. Because without UST or trust in UST, what else does Luna have? That's that's kind of his main thing was the UST thing. But if it can survive this and get back to peg, that could be like a big, like, wow, dude, like they really are going to get the peg on that. Like you might grow in trust that's been through such a dark time and it got back to its peg. People might be like, oh, wow, like they're going to make sure this stays keeps its peg.
The chart for Bitcoin is not looking good. I mean, I still have some faith in it. One of those things that started at a high, has a huge transaction speed, much higher than Solana even. It's one of those coins that started off at like 10,000, 10,000 of a penny. What I'm going to get into is I'm going to look at the fixed rate mortgages for the housing market.
Just so you know, we only got 2 minutes, so make it fast, and then we'll definitely do another episode of this soon. I'm enjoying this a lot.
Okay. All right, buddy.
2 minutes and counting. Let's see if you can show us the housing market.
All right. Everybody, can you see my chart?
I can see it.
All right, everybody. We're going to go and we're going to do a large zoom out right here. Getting a little slow. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to zoom out a lot. So currently, see that large rise? Mm-hmm. This is, let's say, close to the beginning of COVID, right about here. Market started dropping. The lowest the fixed rate mortgage has been in a long time. High inflation, people can't afford stuff. Low job pay comparative to inflation. The huge drop. The housing market's been hot just about everywhere around the world. Currently, we've hit a level that we have not had since, let's say, about 2009. Wow. I can see us going up here as far as, so we're currently at like the 5.27. We were around 5.5 just recently. This is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. We'll zoom out even further. And, the highest it's ever been was time period in the 80s. Whoa. Insane. You talk to one of your parents, your grandparents, how hard it was to live and what's low amount of items they were living off of, how high CPI was back then, consumer price index, if you don't know what CPI is. We're currently in a bubble, high interest rates, insane jump. And I can see us going up for a while. Back to STC, which I referenced earlier, we're at the green, we're up there, we're still going up. You look at the MACD, we're going up, we're hitting highs. Mm. And, this is something that where we could see a huge drop. While the markets globally are overinflated,